Welcome back to our first episode of Kaboozi Podcast. You're talking to Ashleen and
Tonya. Well, I should say Antonia.
so we have tried to record this podcast like you guys so many times. But now this time we're serious. So this is our first official podcast with like the whole setup. Shout out to our videographer, still photographer, Sam.
AKA Sammy.
Sam Ayal.
All right.
Yeah, so today our very first topic is gonna be polygamy versus monogamy. So we're gonna go to like the definitions of polygamy and like monogamy. So I'm gonna start with like polygamy, and then you can explain what monogamy is, and then we can
Okay.
move further. Okay, so polygamy refers to the practice of having more than one spouse at the same time. So there are two different types of polygamy. And then there are subsections of that types of polygamy. So there's polygamy. I don't know if I'm polygamy, that one. And that so when one man has multiple women. Yeah. And then there's polyandry, which is when one woman has multiple husbands.
I've seen that.
And then there's group marriage, where all members of the group are considered to be spouses to one another. So they could be multiple people. Like how people have like an orgy, and this is an orgy for like marriage, And then there's cohabitation. While it's not a formal type of marriage, this involves multiple people living together with familiar bonds. Yeah, so it could be the best of social, legal, or like cultural forms of like polygamy that you want to go through. Yeah.
Okay. Whereas for monogamy, that refers to one person, like one partner.
Yes.
Do you want to dive in deep on more on polygamy? You have any examples, any friends, or any kind of research?
Yeah. So I was doing some like research and stuff like that, because obviously like we come from Africa, so we have grown up. Me and you, we have grown up in the Christian way of life.
You're talking to yourself on that one.
No. Okay, yeah, but like
I've grown up in more of a polygamous.
Yeah, but then we've also grown up in the Christian way of life, which is what we normally see, one woman and one man. But then in the African umbrella, like, our parents or our grandparents or the grandparents or the grandparents before. And then some of our parents have been in polygamous marriages where it's like, oh, you have two mothers and then one dad and everything like that. So yeah, polygamy is like a social norm in Africa, depending on which household you come from. But personally, for me, I grew up with one. I saw my dad and my mom just together. I never saw them in a polygamous marriage, as compared for you, where it was like a little bit different.
Yeah, it was more like, it's confusing. Like to explain it to people, it's like my dad has two wives. My stepmom, who is the first wife, and then my mom, but technically both of them are my mothers, even though the first one is not really my biological mom.
Yes.
It was I'll be probably one of the luckiest kids that have grown up in a polygamous relationship, because it actually worked out where I didn't see that kind of like toxicity that most people think you'd see in a polygamous relationship.
Yeah.
Now, would I want to be in a polygamous relationship? No, thank you. Because I believe in just having one person as a partner, but and also like the way it's instilled in like in our African customs is like, if you have more than one wife, especially if you're a Christian, if you grow up in a Christian foundation, if you have more than one wife, you're sinning already. You already know where you're going. So even if you press so hard, they've already put it in your mind that
it's a sin.
It's already a done deal.
So do you feel like polygamy and monogamy are social constructs, or it's like more of like your preference as a person?
Actually, let's first speak English. What do you mean by social construct?
Social constructs mean like, okay, like how you have like grown up seeing this socially being acceptable back home, as compared to you, like your own personal view, where it's like, oh, even if I've seen it, even if I'm not seeing it, this is something that I want to do. Because a lot of times that's something that, like I told you, I was listening to a podcast earlier that was talking about how certain people do it because it's cool. Like now you see like rappers having like multiple like baby mothers, like to mention like Future, and it's something normal. That could be considered polygamy too, because you're having multiple partners and all of them probably like know that this is something normal. So do you think most of the times like people get into polygamy today because it's like a social media thing, or like because they genuinely want to be polygamous?
I don't think it's about genuinely wanting to be polygamous. I feel like it's about the partner you're with at the time, and whatever they're going through. So basically with Future, he probably has his own like upbringing for him to actually want that many women in his life. And I don't think it's a polygamous thing with Future. He had such and such amount partners, ex-partners. So for him, these are just he's not still in a relationship with them. It's more of like he's co-parenting.
Oh yeah, with these women.
Yeah, but somebody who is in a polygamous relationship, like I've seen, naturally most Africans, it's like one can have a wife, but also has a second. We would call that the side chick, but it's not called the side chick.
Technically, that would be a second wife.
Yeah, and in the second wife's mind, she's the second wife. She's the wife. She's not actually number two. For she believes in her mind she's married to this man. She owes this man that loyalty. And that's what I've seen in most people. And I mean, some people make it work, others don't. Others actually get divorced and stuff like that. But if you really, some women they will really love that person and they stick with them through the bad and good.
100%.
Then it's funny. There's people in polygamous relationships. You'd think that someone is going to kick the bucket. But nobody kicks the bucket.
Why you even considering someone?
Nah, like if I'm your side chick number 2, I'm waiting for number 1 to kick the bucket.
What if you guys are same age though?
None of them kick the bucket.
I wouldn't want to be your side. I wouldn't want to be your side.
I'm chilling. Like, when are you gonna kick the bucket, ladies, so I can get
that's
number 1?
Yeah.
I'm just saying they live longer. And then imagine, like for me, grandpas, I'm really sorry. My grandpa left 2 women behind. So imagine the dude. I was waiting for the first lady to go.
So you thought the first woman would die before your grandpa?
Yeah.
How? But your grandpa was older.
I'm just saying, technically, in my mind, if I was a second wife, that's what I would think. But I mean, most families have made it work. And I feel like some men believe that if they have a polygamy, they can have as many kids as they want. Like maybe they want 10 kids and maybe wife number 1 only wants 3.
Yeah, that's true.
You can make 6 or 10 with 2 women or 3.
100%.
Muslims do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because in Islam faith, it's more like some of the reasons why they accept polygamy is because like according to their faith, like if you're to get like another woman, you have to be able to love all the women and treat them fairly.
Equally. And that's what my dad does with his wives as well. I feel like it's still the same. Some religions believe that if you even have 2, you actually have to be able to afford them. You cannot treat one more like differently with the other.
Yeah, that's
as
true.
For monogamy,
do you feel like you can love 2 people the same way at the same time?
Definitely. I've been in such a situation.
So have you explored what is it called?
Polyandry.
Because you would be the woman.
So for me, did I explore that part, whatever you called it?
Polyandry?
Yeah. No, I liked 2 men at the same time, but I kept one informed.
So one of them knew the deal, and then the other one didn't know the deal.
Yeah, the other one was a little bit insecure, so I didn't think he would take it easily, a little bit, controlling at that time. I was young. I was still exploring my options. I was still trying to have a good time.
Do you feel like it's essential for each one of us to explore whether we like polygamy or monogamy for us to figure out what we like? Because you can't know unless you try.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I think for most people, they assume, like, sometimes I wonder, when you get out of high school, you've been dating one person, you've never explored out of the box to see what is out there. If this, like for me right now, I'm actually okay with being monogamous. But prior, my prime times in the 20s and my 19s, I was exploring my options because I feel like it does not make sense to just be with one person.
you know how like when we're like younger, they would always like, you know how sex is such a big thing in Africa, or like we're taught to be so scared of sex, like sex is such a like a vital thing and everything like that, you know. Do you feel like, because you know how like, because we have so many options and we have mingled a lot and like dated different people, like had sexual intercourse with different people, you can't fully like have a successful monogamous relationship because your mind has been distributed to all this, you've given a piece of yourself to different people?
No. Because I feel like with that being said, like you already found whatever you're looking for with that exploring. Like, you know what you cannot entertain and what you can entertain.
That's true.
So if you're like gonna be monogamous, you already know that what's out there is not enough for me. Like when I go out, I would say, nah, that's not my, that's not my cup of tea. I already know what that person is already going to bring, the kind of conversation we're gonna have. So yes, I would prefer to be monogamous because it keeps me in the loop and prevents me from going out there to explore as I used to as a kid, and I've learned from it. I mean, with people who do polygamy, good for you. Monogamous people, I'm supporter. I'm your supporter. Yeah.
I think
What about you? Let's talk about you.
I think relationships work between two different people. You know, I can't say I'm fully like closed-minded to like one thing, because obviously, like, to be honest, I'm a child of God, you know, and I consider marriage and dating two different things for me. In a marriage, 100%, I want to be in a polygamous relationship. But before marriage, you know, because you have to think about it. Women have how many years to be in our prime where we can give birth? And we have to think about it. We live in America. The food that we eat, the products that we use, even just like trickling down to like pads, all these things affect our uterus, you know. So we have a specific time where we're in our prime for us to be able to give birth, for me to be able to be like, you know, to relate to a man and be like, oh, I'm a wife, I can still give birth, I can do all these things like that. It's a short time period. So if I close myself off for all these years and say, okay, damn, I should just be with one man. Because sometimes people have bad choices, like they pick the wrong partners. And you know, so you're related to it, where you have a specific type of man that you keep attracting who is not good for you. So for years and years on end, you're just attracting the same exact individual and you're not fully getting to the potential that you want to get into. So I think there it's unfair for you to like kind of put yourself in a position and be like, oh, let me just be with one person. Because you could be with one person who wastes your time for all these years, you know, 2, 3, 4 years. But if it's marriage, like if you're in a serious relationship, I think polygamy is wise. But if you're dating, I think you should be able to explore
So you think when you're married, polygamy is wise?
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it monogamy? The one?
Oh no, so you get English is not my first language. Please allow it. You know,
I just corrected her. Sorry, guys.
thank you, Professor.
I was listening keenly. Oh my god! But
you get what I mean. You get what I mean.
I got you.
Yeah, but marriage, 100% monogamy. If you're dating as a woman or even as a man, you need to be able to explore your options. But I don't think it's wise, like if you're in a serious relationship and you guys have like specified like, yo, I want you to be my girl, you want me to be your man's, like that's a whole different thing. But if you're dating, I feel like you should be able to, you know, date around, figure out what you want to do, you know?
And then also, you know, women are also shamed for that.
Yes, 100%.
So it's like when a man finds out that you've been out there having a good time, sipping some wine, getting
Cheers to that,
lit.
by the way.
Cheers.
To living our best lives and being in
I'm too grown to even have have a good time anymore. But no, like women are like ashamed for being polygamous. I mean, there's this lady I literally watch. It's a polygamous show. I wish we could even put examples of that. And she has these two, a boyfriend
and a husband.
You know how to finish?
No, she went viral. The one that inside her video inside here.
It's so nice to have both men that love you. I'm like, woman, how are you doing it?
I kind of dig it low-key, like, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't shame myself and be like, oh, I'm off to it. Because
I'm just proud of her confidence. And both of them are
they're very in tune into her. They're not playing no games at all.
But you think, is there room for jealousy? That's the only thing with polygamy.
No, but I think the issue is if someone does not have emotional intelligence. Because for you to get into that situation, you have to have, like, really thought about it like, damn, like, you know, because to be honest, for me personally, I've tried polygamy. I have tried. Not for me, not me polyandry, but I've tried to be in a polygamous relationship where I was seeing someone and they had another person. Yeah.
Also me.
Also,
I did not try. No, I did not try. They invited me. So I went to this birthday. No, guys, let me tell you about this story. I went to this birthday party. I had started dating this guy. Like, I was 21 at that time. And this guy, he made some good money, but he said, oh, yeah, he invited me for his birthday. At that time, I thought I was just dating him. Imagine whose house it was. It was his girlfriend. There was also another girlfriend. And he was saying, then he sat me down and he said, you know, you're very pretty. First of all the other girls, they were all different. So I'm like,
oh, so he had different types.
hey, yes, variety. He had, so he wanted a shorty in the crew, the mix. So he's like, oh, he's chatting at me, and he was handsome. He had some nice muscles. You know, Antonia loved her some muscles.
We know your time.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there chilling with this guy. We're drinking. We're having a good time. They wish him happy birthday. I see all these girls, and it's around Halloween time. So his birthday was on Halloween. So one girl's dressed like a rabbit. The other one was just like a little sex thingy.
What were you dressed like?
For me, I was dressed like a queen. You know,
I love that for you.
So something cute. And I had my short cut at that time, and he used to cut my hair. So,
oh yeah, you had a shortcut era, but
yeah, I had my shortcut era. So this guy was sitting down and he invites me in. He says, oh, like, I gotta talk to you about something, you know, because at that time when I was dating, at that time I was not looking for anything serious. I was having a good time. I didn't want anything serious. So this guy is like, I'd like you to be my girlfriend. And I said, you know, like, I'm not looking to be your girlfriend at the moment. I'm just having a good time. I'm still in school, you know. So this guy is like, yeah, the girls think you're pretty. I said, the girls? He's like, yeah.
The family.
I would like you to be a number 3.
Oh, that's funny.
This is a plot twist.
So number 3, number 4.
I told him I'm not a number 3, you know? And he's like, you could be the number 1. I said, how would number 1 feel? You know?
That's true. The number 1 who's the current one.
Yeah. Man, and she had a cut. He said, oh, I'll pay for everything. I'll pay for your school. Man, this guy had offered me everything. He's even told me he'd buy me a car just to move in with them.
To be honest,
I said,
I think polygamy is really tricky. Because for the women, yeah, sometimes women don't care because it's like, oh, I'm getting every single thing. Like, I don't mind, you know, it's cool, it's whatever. But then when you think about it, women are crazy. I'm a little bit crazy too. Every single day I have to pay.
She had cuts. So yeah, she was definitely crazy.
We are from Africa. We are scared of us. We just turn into a human being. Like,
don't do that. So I'm like, how does woman number 1 and 3 like me? It's like, they'll get along, da da da. I said, nah, I'm good.
I actually saw this.
And I'm glad I actually declined.
Yeah, I saw a couple recently on TikTok. It was going viral. I'm not really sure what their name is. Hopefully we shall find the video inside. This guy is dating these 2 women. He has a girlfriend before, and now he brought a younger girlfriend to take and they would go onto TikTok live, and you could see how he treats this one differently, and how this one is a little bit, you know, she's a little bit slow, you know. She just accepts when he's like, she was literally going to the bathroom and she told him, yo, babe, I'm going to the bathroom, and he was like, don't go to the bathroom without telling me.
Which man would deny me my bathroom shot?
That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes, like, when you give someone an inch, they run a mile. You know, you accept certain things, and then it gets to a certain point where you cannot start saying like, oh, no, this is not cool, because it's going to be like, oh, you were cool with something before. Like, even when you're expressing your emotions about certain things, or saying, okay, this person, okay, sometimes it's not out of jealousy. It's just you notice this person has gotten a bag. I didn't get a bag for Christmas too. So I'm having this conversation with you. It might sound like it's coming from jealousy, but it's the truth, you know? So issues like that start coming up. So I feel like for women, I don't think, you know, also for men, because sometimes I see the way, that's why I'm not opposed to the one for a woman having 2 men. Because men are not that crazy. Like, if men are, no, I know you're met some crazy one. But if you're both emotionally, like, you guys have both agreed to be with this woman, men are more logical than emotional. Women are more emotional.
I don't think so. I think men are also jealous characters.
When you meet the crazy men.
Not even that meeting the crazy men. Let me tell you. We've dated Africans. That's just
the ones who have accepted to be in that situation. But if you haven't,
they'll call them what? What do you think they'll call that man?
Co-husbands.
No, they would call that man a simp.
But why do you have?
And how do you think it hits a man? Like, when when, you know, like you're in your friends and then they're just talking about you like, oh yeah, bro's a simp, like he got this girl. And like I've seen the way men talk about like their fellow, like let's say the guy is dating another woman, or like the woman has been seen with another guy outside, but the guy is okay with it, right? They'll talk shit and it gets on the man's ego. That's creating his inner crazy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, men be having wild egos. But that's why I was saying, if you've accepted to be in that mix, for men, it will probably be more successful because you've already it's already a pre-notion in your head. But for women, even if I've accepted anything, Antonia, now her bum has grown bigger, now he's touching her more. No, this is not going to work. Oh, now.
I mean, Muslims make it work.
But Muslim culture is also very different, you know? It's very different. So it's
I would never marry a Muslim man.
Hey, cool.
No, I'm just saying in general, like, because there's always a chance and he just has the right to get another wife.
Some Muslims have agreed to have one woman. But still, I can't risk it.
No, I didn't want to. I'll be like, hey, my darling wife, so I think it's time I add on to the family.
I want some more babies. You want some babies.
Man, me, I'll be okay. My husband came and told me, my wife, since you only want to give birth to one, I need another woman for 3. So as long as you give me whatever I want, you can have your third or second wife.
No, we're going to get a surrogate. I'm good. So you can go, you be touching her stomach going, no.
As long as in heaven, God knows I'm going to heaven and where he's going to be found.
Let's get a surrogate. Let's go get a surrogate.
Let me tell you, if you're there and you're a woman and you feel like your guy has literally polygamied you out there, and just always know God got your back.
You out, like, yes.
Meaning that if you're feeling like, oh, this man has cheated on me, I was there for this guy, now he has a second baby mama or whatever, just know God got your back. As long as you're loyal, you'll be in heaven. I tell him he will receive his next punishments down.
No, I think like people shouldn't put themselves in situations they can't handle. If you're with a man who cheats and with a man who...
But you know, sometimes actually, there's some like even religions, you cannot even divorce. It's not even a topic of discussion. I mean, Antonio, what has been done has been done.
20th century, you can divorce if you want to divorce. Like, unless you're in some country...
For me, I'm a Catholic. Like, it's till death do us part, baby. So we're not divorcing. So if you... Okay, I'm not giving this as a go for my man to go and do till death do us part or whatever, get another woman. But if you go and do your mistakes and you treat me wrong, God has plans for me. Maybe there was a reason as to why that second woman came into your life. Also, women should also understand that sometimes you could be the problem. If your man comes home and you're not treating him right, he's gonna go and find it somewhere else. If you're not giving him food, some woman can cook him food. So if you want to keep your man, sometimes you have to be a little bit, is it called submissive?
You have to be. Submission is part of like a healthy relationship between a man and a woman, you know, but there has to be, as we talked about, open communication. Like, you know, if I'm not doing certain things right, I should be able to give you the space to come to me and tell me, babe, we're not having amazing babe, the food is not as great. I want you to try different things. Because me, I'm a nurturing person. I want to cook. I want to clean your place. I want to do every single thing that makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
And also validate you as a man. But some things could not even be at home. It could be like your relation with like different people, how you speak to other people, or just like your job or all those things like that. But you have to communicate.
Yeah.
Because if it gets to a certain point where it doesn't work, then there's no point of us being together.
Yeah, because you also have to look at it in this way. Like, if you're nagging all the time, if you're a constant hag, this guy is coming home and the first thing you're going to say, oh, babe, why don't you do this or that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
He's going to want to go out, probably at the bar. He's chilling. He sees some girl sobbing.
That's true.
And then, you know, he'll slide her a cup of...
A lot of times, you know, women, we don't take accountability for the things that we do too. I mean, you can't push someone to cheat, you know, but I think a lot of times as women, we get so into our heads about like how our emotions are more valid than the other person. Oh, I'm emotional, so this makes sense. No, the other person is emotional too. It's just like, you know.
I realize that also men do cry. So men...
they cry.
Like, so oh my God, has gone to find, like, if you see he has found someone younger, maybe that younger person does whatever you used to do back. Like, let's say we're old, Ashley, and we're in our 30s when we're married, and then so-called like one of our friends, or she comes to us and it's like, oh, my man just literally just has a second woman, she's younger, because you're no longer, bringing that young self of yours. He misses it, so he's found it in someone. And literally, when I was in situations and I was polygamous, two people would make one for me. You know what I'm saying? When I see one guy,
like there's certain things that
this person brings and the other one. And so when you join it, it's just the perfect guy.
No, because I'm also relating from like a man's point of view, because like that's why I had asked the question, can you like love two people at the same time equally and fairly and all that stuff? So maybe that's the case,
Yeah, like
you can actually like feel two people at the same time.
So perfect match. You can just create perfect. Monogamy, I don't know, man. As a black person, I'ma just say we black people are just polygamous, to be honest.
No.
Are you sure?
It's really culture, it's your environment, it's what you choose to entertain.
You're telling me you're on a plane, you're sitting next to a guy, you're already married, but just say your husband just pissed you off. You have a very good conversation with this guy. That first thought, this guy then asks you, he doesn't see a ring on your finger, and he's like, what's your name? And then you start
to
communicate.
But I'm married,
Yeah, but you're married. But you start to communicate, huh? And the communication is like you're clicking like you've never clicked with someone like you clicked with your husband at that time. And the click with your husband is no longer as clicky, And then you guys progress this relationship. It gets to a point where you have to at least admit to your husband that, look, I just want to have both of you in my lives.
Yeah, to be honest, if it gets to that point where I actually meet someone and I'm feeling them, I feel like I want to get married to a person where we can have those difficult conversations. Because I feel like marriage is a whole different vibe, Antonia.
It
like
is a
we're
hard
Christian,
thing.
so like I'm not gonna play around when it comes to marriage. This is something that God is, blessing. We're getting God's blessings. My village uncles, my aunties, everyone is going to contribute for my marriage. So you think I'm going to just go there and not play? And I know it. I feel like, to be honest, there's no point of you getting married to someone if you cannot have certain conversations, because it's not gonna be rainbows and sunshines every single day, But if I'm getting to a point where I have to hide that from you, then the relationship has ended, to be honest. Then I'm just being selfish. Now I'm giving into lust, I was telling you, I was listening to a podcast before where it was a pastor.
Then don't get married.
Hey? What do you mean? I want to get married.
I'm just saying, if you feel like you'd get into a situation like that, don't get married.
That's why I'm not gonna get married to that person. I want to get married.
No, I'm saying in general, like.
Oh, you're speaking on general.
In general, like if you feel like you gonna go out there, you feel like this person is not 100% where you want them to be for you. Don't jump that.
100%.
I feel like
but we can idealize what we think marriage is supposed to be, and it's actually not it, because we're all different.
Maybe
people
we need
dealing
to talk
with different
to married
things.
people.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, that's what I was telling you. My research, it came from a polygamous couple and a monogamous couple, and the monogamous couple was a pastor who were married together for like 8 years, and the other one's polygamous, married for 28 years. And they say they were married for 16 years, and then they turned into polygamy. And the woman, she has 4 husbands.
Yeah, they're just friends. They're just having some kind of friendship in that household.
I think for them, they were trying to explain that. Don't you think it's kind of hypocritical where we all claim like, oh my God, cheating is so bad, cheating is so bad. Some of you guys have work wives and husbands. I
don't have any work wives or husbands.
They do, like,
because for me, like in general, at work, I only work with women, so my man can never be.
No, but can you cancel it out that you've ever had, like, you've been at a workplace and you actually vibe with like a male person at work?
I've always worked in like female environments.
So you've never worked at a place and you got in a work husband?
No.
Me, I have, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Like, to be honest, but it wasn't even like anything sexual or anything like that. It's just like a person like takes care of you, brings you food, things like that. So things like that, we glorify them when it's.
I don't think he understands. She was your work wife.
Technically, I was. To be honest, I used to enjoy those benefits. Yay! Every single time, get free car rides, get free food. Like, you know what I mean? People glorify those things, but we don't talk about like the fact. Isn't it better for you to be open? Because if you're going to be fucked up, isn't it better for you to be fucked up and be open about being fucked up rather than you keeping it away and being like, oh, I need to uphold my partner to this level, but I'm actually doing fucked up shit.
My question with that polygamy thing. So do the women do themselves?
What do you mean?
You know what
can the women also be in polygamy? Oh my goodness. That's true. So there has to be a time because there's the LGBTQ plus.
Let's go sensitive on that or we'll get
No,
canceled.
we are sensitive. We are very sensitive. Please don't cancel us. We have just started. No, because think about it. If there's polyandry for women, a woman having different male partners, that means there has to be, because the lesbians too, we have to be inclusive. So that means lesbians can also have different women and have.
Oh no, because in this other relationship that I had made my research on, the woman had it's an example in my real life. This guy, I was dating this guy. We were just situation. He was dating another girl, right? And this other girl was married. And I asked him, I said, bro, isn't that a mixture?
Wait, first don't jump slowly.
I'm jumping.
So you were situationed with this person, and
Yeah,
this
but he would
person
tell
was
me,
dating someone who was married to another person.
Yeah.
That's even hurting my head already, to be honest.
No.
So she
the
was married to
girl
a
was
woman?
married, but she had a boyfriend, a situationship, and then she had another woman. So she had it all. She had the
This
whole
woman
package.
was living her best life. She was the by
she had the whole
polygamy.
package. She had the whole package.
Funny.
But I mean, do you know what happens
really
after?
funny.
Do you know what happened?
What?
They divorced.
Oh, because of that. Yeah, you can't do that stuff. Like, to
Some
be honest.
people, it's not meant for other people. I think her husband saw that this woman was capturing some nice guys, man.
Yeah.
The other one, some Jamaican guy with some muscles. He was fine.
I'm telling you and these muscles, you have to release them, please. Release
No,
them
but
to
he
God.
was so fine. And then also the guy I was dating was also fine.
Mhm.
You know me, I only date fine people. So
Wink, wink for that camera a little bit.
he was fine. So, but then I asked him, I said, what was the main reason as to why they ended? Guess what? The chick married the boyfriend.
Why, you guys? To be honest, let's talk about it.
The things really got serious.
If I allow you to go and be polygamous, yeah, and then you leave me. You leave me and you go and marry the other person that I allowed you to do.
Wallahi. She ended things with the situationship. And she fell in love with the boyfriend.
That's the tricky thing about polygamy, though. Like, saying like, oh, my husband is cool, you can have different women, and then I start seeing you. That's why I'm saying polygamy can't work. Antonia, you guys, you just see the house on fire. No, I can't do that.
I'll ban it. Maybe insurance will pay for the house.
No, just call you Antonia. Ashley is wanted for us. I'll be like, oh my God. No.
Nah. But me, I'm monogamy all the way. I feel like for me, 100%. I don't want to be in that experience as to where like
polygamy, to be honest, is just best of religion, best of your culture, and what you're comfortable with as a person. But for us,
why. Yeah. For me, I'm going to stay here in this country if I'll marry an African man, because if you take them back to their country, they will obviously think they can be more polygamous. No. So the thing is, you cancel out.
Have to think about it, Antonia.
Because you think most men get into polygamy when they have money.
Yeah.
In the African terms.
Yeah.
The ones with more women are the ones with money.
But that's only in Africa, because the richest people in the world right now, most of them have one wife.
Those are white people.
But we don't know. But most of them have one wife.
Barack Obama.
One wife.
Not that if I want in my life. Those kind of people, like the one wife material.
Yeah.
Actually, but also it should be hashtag one wife material.
I think also, Antonia, like, we also have to put into the fact that we are not living the same lives that our grandparents and grandmothers lived. Because now there's the income gap between a man and a woman is literally becoming non-existent. Obviously I want to be the man who makes money. I'm gonna make my own money. So if I'm making my own money, most of the times our parents used to just agree to these things because like the man is providing everything, you're just staying at home. But me, I'm not going to be able to provide for myself and everything like that. So there are some things I'm not gonna be able to tolerate. If you want to have two women, please go ahead, but not with me. So I think
also like maybe certain aspects as to why other people agree to polygamy is because of the responsibilities each relationship shares.
Yeah.
Like this one guy was like, if he has 3 women, all of them can provide for each kid. So I'm not going to put that burden on that first wife or on the second or third. If I want 5 kids, I have 1 with the first wife, 2 with the second. Am I doing math right? And 2 with the last. So that's the other 2 will take care of their kids. one takes care of hers, and at the end of the day, I provide as the male. I'm not the male person, but what it's like those responsibilities shared is like less.
Yeah,
I mean, it's expensive, but it's less.
If you want polygamy, you have to better make sure your money is long, to be honest, because the cost of living now, it's not for the weak, to be honest.
So we've seen the cons and the pros and cons.
And I wanted to talk for like our last thing. Polygamy versus monogamy. Like, do you know I was doing some research and I was saying that, like, do you know, like, most of the marriages that end up in divorce are actually more of monogamous marriages?
Because those people, they just married. I don't know what kind of love they were in. They didn't learn their partner.
So you feel like it doesn't have any...
You have to learn your partner. You have to know who you're getting married with, to be honest, first of all. You have to know what's their favorite color, how big is their pants. And then also, you also have to know what you can stand. If you go in there thinking, oh, I'll get over it, it won't ever work.
That's true.
And most people here, they get married for certain reasons.
Benefits.
Man, in America, it's mostly... And then also, like, benefits. The fact is, like, let me just be honest. There's no love if you're getting married and then you're thinking about divorce later. When you ask those old couples how they make it to like maybe 90 or 80 years of marriage, it's because people of our day, they cannot stand communication. They don't know how to communicate. I'll say this as I've seen certain people at my workplace, because I work with people, and the boyfriend is not communicating to his girl, and you're in a relationship with this person for 3 years. Like, your girlfriend is there emailing me, mad, because you have not reciprocated the communication I gave to you. You're not communicating with your girl. And then this is the person you think, oh, I'm in love with, and then you go, you get married. Then you start to communicate. Why do you think during COVID time, most people divorced? Because they couldn't stand each other. Most of the times they were at work. You come back, babe's sleeping. You also go to sleep. Maybe you get jiggy once in a blue moon. Then you go to work. Like, you're not really communicating and doing stuff together.
Yeah, a lot of times people idealize the person that they want to be with. And for a lot of times, like, people can pretend to be a specific type of person.
And love is not even what you see on the internet, to be honest.
Absolutely not. By the way, Hollywood lied to us, you guys. I told my young sister, Abigail, Hollywood lied. Disney lied. Like, you guys, I used to think love was just sunshines, like you're full. And then you pick something up together and you'll be like, your eyes knit. Nah, bro, it's not like that. It's really not. So I think also social media has put such a big
impact.
Yes, on what we think love is supposed to be. People think that love should be
just
big
because
and
someone
grand.
is posting that they're having a good time. You don't know what
kind of lying, you guys. You don't know what kind of fight and lie.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of fight they're getting into. Yes, she's laughing and this and that. They're holding each other. After that video, it might be like some kind of production. You've watched those movies where like people in certain relationships are like working together to make that money. They probably have a business deal. Marriage is like a business. You gotta look at it that way. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
You're signing a contract. This is your part till death do you part. And why are you, like, some people are such chickens, very chickens, emotional chickens, big chickens.
So yeah, we're gonna conclude our podcast by saying, I think personally for me, polygamy is not a natural thing or an unnatural thing. It's just best of you as a person, your experience as a person that you're dealing with, and what your partner can entertain. Personally, for me, I've grown up in a polygamous home, and that's what I want to see in my life and want to show to my kids. So that's my take on this issue. But if you have money, you can do the polygamy. If you have money, you can do it with someone. But to be honest, I'm good on that.
Me personally, monogamy, all the way. I mean, if you do ever see me in a polygamous relationship, just know things fail. I just accepted my fate.
Yeah, she landed. She accepted.
So, to each his own.
To each his own.
But if you see me and you're like, hey, I told you, man, what's up? That's not even us. That's the love of my life. I said till death do us part. I've accepted the second mama. Yeah. So, yeah. That's wraps for me.
Yeah. So it's a wrap for our first episode. We really thank you guys for joining in, and we hope to see you next time.
Proudly sponsored by Antonia.
Antonia. And that's clean. Follow us on Kaboozi Girls on TikTok and Kaboozi Podcast on
Instagram.
And African Pearl on
African Pearl is my IG. You can actually find me on there.
Yeah.
This is Antonia. Ashleen
Aine.
Ashleen Aine.
Oh, you can do golden chocolate, whatever you guys prefer.
Golden.
See you.